Welcome back to Become a Calm Mama. I'm your host. I'm Darlene Childress, and I'm a life and parenting coach. And on this episode, this is a part 2 of an interview I did with Jill and Mary of Girls Mentorship. They are also coaches for teen and tween girls. And in this conversation, this is an extension of our part 1. In this episode, we're talking specific tools and strategies and ways that you can practically support your teen or tween girl. And honestly, I think all of these tips are really good if you have any gender of kid or non-gendered kid or whatever it is. But Mary and Jill primarily work with girls, and they are incredible. And their summer camp, we talk a lot about it because I really deeply believe it's one of the best things out there for young women to participate in. It's a day camp in the Scottsdale, Phoenix area in the month of June. You can sign up for 1 week at a time. And I just think it's so great. So please enjoy part 2 of Teen and Tween Girls with Jill and Mary of Girls Mentorship. So introduce yourself, introduce your program.
You're going to hear 2 voices. The first one is Mary, and I am sitting here with my best friend and my business partner.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jill.
And we're the co-founders of a company called Girls Mentorship. We teach life and personal development skills to tween and teen girls.
What are some of the things that drive a parent to come seek out your programs? Like what are those little hints, or maybe they're big hints of like, our kid isn't doing so great. Our girl is, like you said, she changed, like something's going on, which can be also developmental. So I don't want to scare everybody. Like,
right. No,
yeah, your
100%.
your 11-year-old, 12-year-old's going to spend more time in the room. They might roll their eyes a little bit more. They might slam the door a little bit more. That doesn't mean they're like suicidal. Like I think sometimes that's what I mean.
Yeah.
We pathologize a little bit of this very normal behavior.
Right.
But there are signs that girls might need support.
Yeah, a couple of them, because I know Mare has some that she's going to share as well. But those transitional periods is when parents seek us out. So depending on like the school system is, sometimes if it's that jump from 5th to middle school, or if it's from 6th grade, if 6th grade is still considered elementary school, it's that 6th to 7th grade jump then. But definitely that middle school developmental period is when parents are like, I just want to make sure that she's been contained in this safe elementary environment, and now she's like, we're entering like the zoo essentially. Like we want to make sure that she's well equipped and that she can handle herself in a new environment around new people. Things are going to be probably bigger for her, so we want to equip her with those type of skills and tools.
Yeah, that's good. Just those transitional times. It's so important. Yeah.
And I think the precursor to the transition and wanting to make sure that she's well equipped while entering a larger school district system, more classmates, is friendship drama. They're already starting to see the cattiness, the gossip, the backstabbing. Depending on how early some of them have gotten cell phones, group texts are a real bugger for a lot of families. They typically blow up in girls' faces if somebody's not included. God forbid, somebody's not tagged in a post or included in a Snapchat streak. Like those things can be really, really detrimental at a young age to their self-esteem and then how they see themselves. So coupled with that transition can be just a recipe for disaster. Friends, transitions. I mean, we get messages like this from parents a lot. She just got back from a high school retreat and shared with her mom and I that she feels awkward and doesn't know how to have conversations. It was heartbreaking, right? I think a lot of the times as parents, we also expect our kids to understand how to navigate social situations or what to do at certain chapters of their life. And that's simply not true. We have to be able to teach them these things for them to be able to understand and know them. On the other side of that, we have to give them space to practice and not jump in to try to solve. Because the other thing that we see is, I think bullying has become a really big buzzword around just how children get treated. We don't love seeing friendship debacles or breakups or cattiness or backstabbing in any way, shape, or form, but there is a huge difference between someone getting intentionally bullied and conflict.
Mm.
Typical friendship drama, breakups, makeups, that's conflict. Yes, name calling, things like that, that is still conflict, and it gives our children an option or an opportunity to work through that conflict in a healthy way. But we have gotten really akin to resorting to everything is bullying. My child is being bullied. Bullying is the definition of bullying is very different than the definition of conflict,
Mhm.
and it takes away from children who are actually being bullied. Now, the online forum is a little different in terms of how people can attack others, so we need to be careful and prepare our kids for their online persona just as much as we do their in-person persona. That sucks to say because we feel like those two things should be the same. But the fact is, kids have a different identity online than they do in person. They're safe. They feel safer online behind a screen. They feel like they can communicate with more people and they have more friends than they do in person, which
Well,
also hinders their in-person friendships and relationships.
and they have the ability to quit. It's like, oh, I don't
Mhm.
like this thing. See you later. I'm out of here. I'm quitting. And then in real life, you can't do that. So
Yeah,
it's much
right.
easier to do that online. And then finally,
Yeah,
the
you can
last,
block someone online or
totally.
just, yeah,
Yeah.
leave this, yeah, block them basically, just leave this conversation or avoid
Yeah.
it. And then, yeah, in real life,
Yeah.
that's a lot more challenging.
Yeah. And then the last thing that parents really seek us out for is that 911 emergency when it has
Uh-huh.
gotten that bad, or if there has been any suicidal ideations, or there's just, I mean, the depression is so severe that they're like, we literally don't know what else to do. And they've done other modalities, whether it's through therapy, whether it's through anything else. They're like,
Mhm.
nothing's working, and maybe coaching or mentorship can really support. So then
Yeah.
we'll step in and and offer a hand as well through whatever it is that that family's going through and experiencing alongside the girl.
Yeah. So I would imagine some of the symptomatic behavior you'd see would be maybe school refusal, possibly because they're self-conscious. They've had a conflict at school. They don't feel good, so they like, I'm not going, I'm not going,
Right.
taking a long time getting ready. I would see that.
Mhm.
I could see that as being
Exactly. Yep.
an indication, right? Running really
Hmm.
late, not feeling good, not being
Hmm.
able to get out the door till the hair's right, the makeup's right, the whatever.
Yeah. All of
Were you gonna
it.
say something, Mary?
I was just going to say, I used to take a really long time to get ready.
It was
Right,
that external validation.
I guess I didn't see that as a refusal.
Yeah.
It was just dragging my feet.
Well, you
You
did
wanted
say
to
you have
socialize more than go to school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You also did say that one of your traits is procrastination at times. So it could
Oh,
have been a little
absolutely.
bit
Could have
more
been
of
a
like
little bit of
time
that.
management issue more than
Hmm.
a crisis. Right. And that's the other thing that's so good to notice is that just because your daughter isn't necessarily going to getting ready on time doesn't indicate a self-esteem crisis. It could just be maybe some distraction, maybe a
Right.
sleepiness, who knows?
All of it.
Yeah.
Yes. What's
But,
actually the root cause of it?
right, right. I would imagine eating issues come up a lot in your work,
Uh-huh.
just the restriction
Hmm.
and, that kind of world of eating, disordered eating and eating
Hmm.
disorders.
Yeah.
I
And
see it
then
in my
just
practice quite a bit.
the friendship stuff too, where it
Yeah,
was like
friendship stuff.
she had so many friends, and then her friend group changed, and now there's just a lot of conflict, and now she's very isolated, like a lot of
Mhm.
isolation
Right. Not
as
wanting to
well.
go out.
Right, where
Yeah.
she used to be so, she was involved in this, that, and the other, and now she just
Mhm.
wants to quit everything and she doesn't want to do anything. Um, Definitely more removed from her social circles than
Right.
normal.
Quitting sports, quitting drama, quitting whatever the different things. And the big question as when you're an adolescent is like, who am I? And then you kind of the things that made sense when you were a little kid that maybe someone gave to you, like you play soccer, you are in the drama team or whatever, the clubs and stuff. Maybe that's something you want to try not having and exploring. Is this who I am without who am I without it? There's some exploration necessary at this age. And and that is okay, but when we start to get worried, yeah, if they start to kind of pull back from life and, disconnect from their social world.
And parents are always really curious of doing too much. It's like, okay, well, she's in therapy, and then we also have her with a psychologist and a this and a that, and then now is this too much for us to add more to her plate? And we just like to say that it takes a village raising a child, and every child is going to be different. And who are we to tell you what your child is like? You know that child better than anyone. And if you think all of these people coming together to work in unison to make her better, then we're on board. So it's like we're not here to prescribe, diagnose, nothing. Our job is to just be a space to say, okay, we are here and now, and let's teach you the skills and the tools and the strategies to get you through whatever it is that you're experiencing, and just to relate and to validate, to say, like, we in some way, shape, or form, but between the two of us, we've walked in pretty much all of the girls' shoes, and not in their own experiences, but we can at least empathize to say, we see you, we get you, and we know it sucks. Like, just to be like, man, it's hard. So that they can be like, okay, these girls get me, and maybe I am ready to put some action behind this to feel better. So yeah, I just want to like throw that out there, if parents are listening, that it is okay to have a community of people to raise your children. It doesn't need to be one
And that
at a
also
time.
doesn't say anything about your parenting. I
Right.
think a lot of people take offense to needing help or
Right.
outside of the household. It's like, you said it takes a village. It doesn't say anything about how good or bad you are. We would
Or
actually
good
say
or bad the child is either.
right.
Yeah.
We would
right,
actually
right.
say the opposite. The fact that people seek our services out tell us how much they care about their child's success. And not success on paper, success in life.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what tools that you teach the girls. Like, I was looking at your website and looking at the goals that you have set up, kind of where you want to take a person, take a young woman. And so kind of thinking about the goals, the skill gaps, and then the tools, and maybe like one quick little tool that you could give a parent.
We start every program with every subset of girls, individual or group, with self-awareness. So it's the power of perspective, yours as well as others, because I'm not sure if anybody is living in the same world that I am right now. In 2025, we have a massive issue with seeing things from other people's perspective, which grossly limits our own. And it makes for heavier conflict and quicker reactions, no response time, just pure reactionary vitriol from both sides. And that is so unfortunate for our children to be witnessing and growing up in, because they think that's the default. They think that's the correct path. We start every program out with a solid lesson on why self-awareness and perspective is so important. Because if you just wake up 8 a.m., the alarm goes off, you hit it, you get up, you do your normal habitual things, and you go get ready and you go to school, and then you go to your job after school, and you come home and you do homework, and you go to bed, and you do the same thing every single day without ever checking in with how you feel about those things or recognizing and saying hi to those feelings, then 10 years is going to pass and you're going to look back and say, oh my God, what happened? Who
It's
am
almost
I?
like you were asleep. It's almost, if you don't pause and say like, hey girl, to yourself.
And we
Yeah.
are. Half the population is. It's pretty scary. By the age of like 27, your habits are pretty much cemented. So if you're not actively questioning the things you do or why you do them or the feelings that you have and why you're feeling them, you are asleep. One of our other favorite authors is Joe Dispenza, and he talks about the neural activity in your brain at a level that you can really understand it and buy into it and do things to help you not go with the flow. And I'm not talking about the flow of other people. I'm talking about the flow of your own life, because 90 to 95% of what we do in a day is habitual, which means our body just runs the show. Our mind can go into autopilot and we know how to do the things that we do. And the perfect example of this is when we first started to drive a car, right? You checked both side mirrors, you checked the rear view mirror, you adjusted the
You hope your
seat.
teen does all those things.
Right.
Oh gosh, I did those things religiously for so long because it was such a great responsibility to be behind the wheel of a car, right? And now, God, I get in, I don't know what happens.
Yeah, we don't
between
even look to see if there's a car behind us.
when I get in my car to when I get to my destination. And I know so many of you can relate to the fact that you think of, how did I get here?
hell?
Wow,
Was
I
that
was
light
Is there a
red?
stop sign there?
I was just totally checked out. So
yeah, well,
our-
most accidents happen within a mile of your home.
they do.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
really
because
do.
I think
The
that's where you're the
percentage
most
of that.
comfortable and you're not really vigilant and paying attention.
Paying
Yeah, so-
attention.
True.
So our lessons on self-awareness are foundational to the rest of our lessons. And the first thing we have kids do is check in with us. So we have a scale, it's called their temp check, a scale of 1 to 5. How are you feeling when you walk in this room? 1, not so great, pretty lousy. 5, I'm here, I'm ready to go. And then we have them associate why, a feeling as to why. We do this Read Across America thing every year with 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. And we don't just get right into the book. We get into who we are and why, and we have them do a temp check. And some of them are, it's in the morning before lunch, and some of them are like, well, I'm tired. And I'm like, thanks for sharing that with me. I'm hungry. Thanks for sharing that with us. Because do you think that if your tummy is grumbling and you're thinking about what you packed for lunch, you're going to be able to tune into what I'm saying? And they're like, no. And I'm like, exactly. So now that we've acknowledged it and we've talked about it, I stand to gain a little bit more of your attention because we know it. And I'm not making you wrong for it, and you shouldn't make yourself wrong for it. But you can acknowledge it in the moment and then ask what you need. Maybe it's a drink of water to help placate some of that hunger that you're feeling. Or maybe you need to take a bite of your snack in order to feel like you can pay better attention to me. We want to work with kids in order for them to feel their best in the moment with us and then be able to check out. So we do a check-in and we do a check-out. Are you feeling better than when you walked in, and why? And so much of the time, it's just that simple acknowledgement. It's being seen, heard, loved, and valued for how we're feeling in the moment. But we don't give our kids the skills and tools enough to be able to check in with themselves. You're supposed to be here by 8, get out the door by 8:30. You need to be in this class by 9. You've got a test to take at 9:30. You've got a study part, right? We give them all the directives and the how-tos, but we don't tell them that they need to check in with themselves. And I think that's a huge miss.
Yeah, it really is. It's so important. Mhm.
Well, and it's cool because what we're teaching kids to do by doing that is, are you showing up as your best self? And sometimes we're not expecting you to not have sad and bad days, but maybe you did just have a friendship fight. And now we're asking you to pay attention for the next hour, and your mind is racing and you're not showing up as your best self. You're overwhelmed, you're frustrated, you're sad, but you're acknowledging it in this moment. And there's nothing we can do, because one of our other favorite tools to teach kids is the circle of control. The things that are in your control and the things that aren't in your control. So although your mind is caught up in the friend stuff, we're going to just shelf it for the next hour. And we want you to be here so that you can pour back into yourself, because you just exerted a lot of energy into that friendship, that fight. And now you're depleting more energy by continuing to think about it. So how do we as a community pour back into you? And whether you participate by just being here and being open, or you pair share with the girl next to you and she makes you laugh and giggle, and all of a sudden it's right, her little self-esteem is getting back and she's like, oh my gosh, I feel better. So even though she just come off of that fight with a friend, she checked in and now she's leaving even a little bit higher because she did the work. She did the work, and not only herself, but also we acknowledge that other people can pour into you if you're open to it.
Like you can borrow somebody else's belief.
Yeah.
Jill and I do our best to walk into every room at our highest energy. right? Because we use this tool, we use the temp check on ourselves. What do we need in this moment? And it is our duty to give girls our top tier energy. And that's one of the things feedback wise that we walk away with a lot is I feel better because you guys were energetic. Like
Yeah.
you gave me what we needed. And I think that's a really cool call out too, because we can't expect people to change our situation for us, but we can have the expectation that people can contribute and
Yeah,
help
well, we
us get
say
to
like
where we need to
amygdalas
be.
talk to amygdalas. So if you have like
Yeah.
a calm, peaceful amygdala and that like whichever's I would say like the strongest amygdala wins in a room. And so you've been working on your nervous system and you're like really in this good space, you're ready to show up and then you have the strongest nervous system. So everyone can borrow yours and they can, feed off of it. And that's really good for parents to understand that in many ways your teen needs to borrow your nervous system a lot. Like they don't want to get in the car possibly and talk all about the test and did you talk to your friend about what happened yesterday? Like the
Right.
gossip, the dig,
Yeah.
It's like this is a place of peace. Come in and just be and you don't have to prove anything or demonstrate anything or show
Right.
anything.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
it's worth notating too that these skills that are learned that can be learned at this age are super helpful. And I will reiterate this, like I already have, into adulthood, right? Because this is where we set boundaries. This is if we're frazzled and we've had a really jam packed day and one of our friends invites us out, we learn how to say no because if we show up and we're frazzled, we're going to ruin everyone else's experience. I know that if I'm burnt out based on the fact that I've worked really hard for the last 5 days, I don't want to say yes to weekend plans because it's going to continue to drain me. And I'm probably going to show up as a bitch. I'm going to leave as a bitch. And I'm going to have this experience where everybody else perceived me as the bitch I showed up as. And that's not what I want in any way, shape, or form. So
Yeah.
listening to how I'm feeling, what I'm feeling, and navigating that and acting appropriately helps me and everyone else in my life as an adult.
Yeah. Attention to what I get to say yes to and what do I get to say no to. A lot of these young girls, they go through really hard social things. They're in their head, they're feeling self-conscious, and they're sit down in math class or it's time to like listen to the soccer coach kind of drill into you and tell you all the stuff that you guys didn't do last week at the game. I don't know. There's a lot of influences and you don't get to just be like, you know what, I've had a long and a 5 days. I mean, they don't feel like they have a ton of agency. And sometimes
Yeah.
we don't get to say no to certain stuff. But I love that circle of control and the shelving it. What do I need to do now? Can I make this moment okay? What can I put a pin in or circle back to later? It's like the circle of control and the circle back of control or something.
Right.
Yeah. Learning to toggle that is so hard. And what a gift to give that to young women to learn. It's not compartmentalizing in a negative way. It really
Right.
is resilience. Like I'm
Mhm.
struggling, I'm in pain, and I want to also set future me up by doing well on this math test. And so, how can I take care of me now or promise? I do this a lot with myself. Promise I'm going to take care of you later.
Mhm.
I'll give room for this pain, but not now. And I think we get scared because the older generations were like, shove it down, get it together. The math test is the most important thing. And really it's not either or.
It's not
Yeah.
one or the other,
Yeah.
Not
it's
one or the other.
both.
Like I get to say I'm full right now and I don't want to do something, or I can't think about that right now, but I'm going to
Mhm.
come back to it. So it's not
Mhm.
avoidant. I think we're so afraid because of TikTok and all the things about not acknowledging our feelings and processing our feelings that we want our kids to we kind of give them this message that like you have to attend every emotional pain party that your body invites you to. It's
Right. And that
like,
you then ruin what's potentially in front of you.
yeah.
And that's what we're like, especially at our summer camp. It's one of those things that we hound on day one and every day that we reset the day in terms of this experience is what you bring to the table. We have a killer summer camp. And if your attitude and your effort that we are not in control of,
Or in charge of.
we can't control those things. If you aren't going to meet us there or at least be open to this experience, then it's going to suck. But
Yeah.
how do we show girls and empower them that they are in control of those things? They can say, you know what, I did have a crappy night's sleep, but I'm not going to ruin this day. And I'm actually in control of that. What
Yeah,
I'm
there's so
kind
much
of
empowerment there.
yeah, what I'm normally used to is blaming mom or blaming this person or blaming, whatever else. So it's showing girls not to self-sabotage opportunities that are like literally gifted to them and that are right in front of their fingertips.
And what you said earlier was kids don't feel like they have a whole lot of agency. So we like to paint the picture of where they do in their life. We go over the definition of agency, of autonomy, of the personal responsibility that comes with having those things and being able to flex those muscles. We allow them the space to really utilize those things within summer camp, because without practice, right, they're not going to know what that feels like. Because again, it is the being told where they need to be every step of the way, and their schedules are packed. So they don't have time between the end of school, them doing homework and going to soccer practice to process any of the feelings that may have come up throughout the day. So it's like, okay, in that moment, if something in this conversation that we're having is heavy for you, feel free to get up, step outside for a moment, take a deep breath, get a drink of water, but you are also expected to come back into the room.
Yeah.
And if you need to have a conversation with somebody about it, pull one of us aside. There's Jill, there's other camp counselors here who have been prepped and ready to hold space for you. So showing them these skills and tools and actually giving them the space to practice having agency over themselves is so important, because there's not a ton of areas in their life where they feel like they are in control of their own schedule.
Yeah, where they get to practice. I do think, like you said earlier, Mary, that we kind of think that kids should know all this stuff, like how to talk to people and how to be social and, like, I don't know, how to manage difficult moments, and they don't. But then we think something's wrong. Like, oh, there's something wrong with us. There's something wrong with them. We haven't done something right. And really, a lot of us don't learn these skills typically till like 20, 30, when we start doing self-help on
If
our
ever.
own.
Right.
If ever.
When
Yeah.
we
If
really have to
ever.
learn the hard way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be through lots of broken relationships and broken relationship with ourselves and pain and, probably sabotaging
I was just
behaviors.
going to say, Jill said self-sabotage earlier, and that's a big one. It's our upper limit, right? We start to get close to the things that we've never experienced before, and
How do I ruin
subconsciously is
those?
like, how do I mess this up? Let's get into a fight. Let's go get drunk.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I'm going to not show up tomorrow to work because I got drunk and then I don't succeed or what. Yeah.
And
And
then the shame
then
spiral happens.
Mentorship sure isn't cute then, is it? Like, it's necessary.
Right. Oh, it's so cute. Yeah. No, not
Yeah.
anymore.
Not
No, it's
anymore.
necessary. Yeah. So I think that's so great to recognize that we're teaching kids, like, really emotional health tools, and the schools are not equipped to do this work, nor ought they do it. It's very confusing. We have lost in our society places where kids are mentored in communities, and like churches or your faith-based service or your extended family. There's different traditional spaces where maybe kids would get the opportunity to practice some of these skills.
Right.
We put everything on the schools, and then we
Right.
find it so frustrating if their educations are declining, right? The reading levels, the math levels, but then we're also their emotional health crisis. And it's like we can't keep putting schools there also where their kids are going to get their nutrition and their screenings. And I mean, we really, as a society, have put too much into the school system, and then we don't even resource it well.
Right.
Like, we don't value it as a society.
Say it again.
God.
Say it louder.
Yeah.
No.
So it's like we have these para-school organizations like yours, and I think it can look like on the surface, well, why do we need all this? What's wrong?
She
if
gets it at school.
Yeah. Well, if you're in school and you're having a really difficult time, and you need to go drink some water. Or like you were saying earlier, like have a snack. Like, no, there's not always room in the school system. I was a teacher, so I kind of get it. But there's not room for all of the emotional parts and all the needs. And you've got 35 kids and they've all got the need to get a drink of water and feel
Right.
overwhelmed and process an emotion and
Right.
get a snack and go to the bathroom. Like there's just so much. And we do want kids to have some resilience in like, I know where I'm going to go with this.
Yeah.
I have camp, right? It's coming, or
It's
I get my
coming.
time with Jill and Mary, or building the skill set with the parents as well. And hey, mom, I kind of want to talk to you about something that's been going on, but I don't really know how to talk about. Like just those beginning conversations, and I would imagine you are equipping them with the language to say the things, the tools when you can't do it. What do you do instead? How do you take care of yourself when you can't take care of yourself? Like
Yeah.
there's certain moments when it's not available
Mhm.
to, like, as a mom, I always teach parents to self-regulate, and they're like, but I have like 3 little kids that are like on the floor crying, and I'm like, go take a pause break.
Yeah.
What are you what
And
are
they're
you
like,
talking
Darlene, well, yeah, cool. When?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Like,
okay.
when am I supposed to do that in
Yeah.
between like wiping this bottom and
Right,
whatever?
right. Picking up
Yeah.
the throw up. Absolutely.
Yes, I do really believe it's this internal conversation, how to soothe and cope and process internally, like in real time, is the ultimate win.
Mhm.
Um, and amazing to have that available to these girls. Like, do you get so jealous of them a little bit that they have you? And
Great
That
question.
is a great question. No, honestly, we became who we needed,
yeah,
and
yes, for
that
yourselves.
for
Yeah.
ourselves, and that is the most rewarding and beautiful position to be in, where now we get to create spaces and have conversations and literally watch transformations happen before our eyes. And there's nothing better to that. So zero jealousy from me. It is just it's an honor, it's a privilege. And to show girls that their voice matters, that they matter, that as an adult, I look to them. I might just be a little bit taller and I might be a few steps ahead, but I'm walking the same path as her. And I want her to know that she can come to me and there's nothing that these girls can't say to the two of us that will ever surprise us, and that we will always meet them with love and respect and support in the journey of what she's journeying right now.
I also think it's very cool that we get to make the mistakes that we've made in our life an example. So we get to talk about the things and places that we messed up along the way without the shame or guilt around them anymore, because we know that our examples and our relatability is going to help them understand that there's really not a mistake, right? You either win or you learn. We put so much pressure on Gen Z and Gen Alpha, especially. And we see this in their mannerisms and the way they show up. They're afraid to put themselves out there, because you put yourself out there in a way that society doesn't agree with, you get lambasted. You get pinned and tarred and feathered, and everyone makes fun of
And you
you.
get put online potentially.
And right. And it, depends on how quickly the news cycle lasts. If there's a story that's more exciting than the story that you're a part of, but your story lasts online forever. It could go away, but Lord knows we've seen it happen multiple times in the last 10 years since the rise of social media, that things come back around. You see it in trends. Things that we do, our digital footprint can come back around and bite us over and over and over and over again. And if we don't have the tools and skills to understand who we are, what we value, what we stand for, then those things will take us down into a spiral, and it'll be very hard to recover from that. I say that because kids nowadays are afraid to put themselves out there. They call a lot of stuff cringe because they're scared to go full force into what they love, or to put themselves out there in a way that might be perceived as stupid by someone else, because they don't want to get pointed at or
Laugh
put
Well,
on
everything is
put on some sort of
documented,
a
right?
forum, right? To where
Mm-hmm.
somebody might think it's stupid, screenshot it, share it on Twitter, and it gets millions of views. And that sucks because we're
Yeah.
all different. And that's what's beautiful about our world, our country in particular, is we're a fabric made up of so many different heritages and colors and races and backgrounds and all of these different things that make us unique, that bring us together. And it's terrifying to think that if we put something out there, it could be perceived in a way that could absolutely just tear us down.
Yeah. Yeah, because I do think they feel quite surveilled,
Mm-hmm.
this generation, right? There's a lot of surveillance. The parents are doing surveillance on them with the tracking,
Right.
and the the friends are always like quick to record something or put something out there. So yeah, it's very difficult to feel safe and vulnerable if you are afraid that it's going to leave this space. Like
Right.
other people might know, and
Yeah.
that is, yeah, they are afraid. And
Yep.
in some ways rightly so, but how do you create spaces for yourself where you are safe? And how do you know what safety is and who to be in a relationship with, and make requests like, hey, can we all put our phones away, or whatever that looks like? I have no
Right.
idea. And I wonder, do you do digital education at all with the girls? Because I would imagine that's a big thing they need training in, that
Yeah.
adults aren't necessarily knowing what to suggest.
Right.
God, none of us are. So
Yeah.
it's a 101. It's definitely a let's talk about our digital footprint and the fact that it's out there forever. Like, even if you think that message disappears, it does not. It can be revived from wherever it is in the cloud, right? So it's talking about their safety online, why that matters, and how they can be perceived, how what they say to someone. I think Jill came up with this. It's the grandma rule. If you wouldn't want your grandma to read the things that you wrote, or for those things to be broadcast on a billboard as you're driving down the highway, you shouldn't be saying them, because none of it's ever anonymous. And your safety matters. People can find you, people can locate you based on what you're sharing and the intimate details of your life and your family and your house. And that can put us in a real danger. So it is a fine line. And you hit the nail on the head. It happened so fast, right? 2012 was really when Instagram first hit the scenes. And right along with the
And
growth of
the
Instagram,
selfie ability, the camera
yeah,
could
the
flip.
flip.
The
Yeah.
flip of the camera.
So with that, you can see the charts. The data is plain as day. Along with the use of social media apps, you can see anxiety, depression, just
Yeah.
all of these negative consequences of having the ability to be connected 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and see yourself in that light 24
Yeah.
hours a day, 7 days a
It's
week.
not it's not helping us as a species and as a society. It's just not. There is some value to connection and to, like, this conversation. We wouldn't be able to have this at all. I wouldn't know who
Right.
you were without
Right.
Instagram, and we wouldn't be able to talk through Zoom without the technology. And so there are benefits of the technology, but in the right hands and with the right intention. And, children, just like we don't give them cars, why would we give them a phone?
Correct.
There's just certain
100%.
ages that is appropriate.
Yeah.
I love that you're having those conversations, because yeah, it's like the skills that they need to navigate the world are a little bit, they're the same skills we've always needed, right? Emotional coaching skills, self-coaching, all those things, self-management. But the expectation is a little bit higher, that they keep it buttoned up, that they have their shit together, that they, and then they feel like not safe to share, and then they're falling apart in their bedrooms, and parents are like, what is happening to my
Right.
little girl?
My precious baby.
Yeah. And the change is normal, and we're also all canaries in the coal mine saying something's not right here. The, the culture is toxic. It is making me ill. Like, what is a toxin, right? If it's like airborne, like, that's bad.
Right.
Our girls are struggling, and where are these safe places for them to get supported? And that's what you have built. And
Right here with us.
yeah, it's so
Hi.
incredible. Yeah, Jill and Mary.
Here
Yeah,
we
girls
are.
mentorship.
Well, and it's something we never really dreamed of. I will say that. We
Mm-hmm.
didn't set out to start a brand or a summer camp or be in schools. Like that was never on our radar. I think Jill beautifully said it earlier is we simply wanted to be what we didn't feel like we had at that age. And that's no knock to our parents. They did the absolute best they could with what they had. So the way we were parented does not work to parent the generation we have now because external things are so much different than what we grew up having. But with that, we need to make sure we're plugged into the best possible resources. And Jill and I are so pumped that we get to be on the side of the best possible resources because it didn't start out that way. It started as two friends, a couple of glasses of wine asking how we could help. And here we are 5 years later on the brink of throwing our fourth summer camp. We'll have probably over 200 girls at camp this year. The tickets have sold like wildfire because people understand that this work is integral and important, especially at the age that we're doing it for.
Yeah. I do tell my clients, and I've said this, like if I had a daughter, I would absolutely go to summer camp. And it's not a sleepaway, it's a day camp, but I would go to Phoenix. You guys are in Phoenix.
We're in
And
Scottsdale. Yeah.
The Phoenix Scottsdale area.
Yeah.
Yes. But I would get myself a little hotel and I would just spend the day chilling by the pool or whatever while my daughter went to the thing. And then we'd come back and eat meals together. Da, da, da. I would make it a getaway because I think what you're doing is so important.
I have chills.
Thank you.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's like
That's the highest
get to
compliment.
Scottsdale. You have
Do
to fly to the
it.
Phoenix airport.
Right.
It's easy to navigate.
It is. It
It
is.
is. There's so many flights, super easy. It's the summer, so it's pretty affordable because it's so hot there.
June
And-
isn't the hottest month either. We will say
Okay.
we're just in June. July is when it starts to get a little
Really
hairy.
heats up,
Yeah.
but no camps offered in July, just June.
Okay, yeah, good. And that's why I really wanted to have you on. So tell the dates, say a little bit about kind of what it looks like, how to sign up and stuff.
I'm going to leave the details for Mary. I just want to add a little bit more of what we were
Yeah.
discussing because I want to paint a picture for the listeners tuning in. Summer camp, we are pouring into these girls between 37 to 40 hours within the week. That is insane. That's almost a full work week for adults. And when does your daughter get that time, attention, and energy in anything else? So I just want parents to really sit with that because we know that during the school year, we're up against school schedules and sibling schedules and extracurricular activities and all the birthday parties. And it's hard to make those commitments and priorities, but the summer we capture and captivate an audience that really has nothing to do. This is just an invitation from the two of us to say, please look at your schedule, make the commitment because it is worth it. We have seen transformations year over year, and not just one, not just two, like dozens. Multiple dozens of girls that are just a different girl walking out of summer camp than the girl that they walked in as. I wanted to throw that out there because that number is staggering and it's important when you are paying for the summer camp ticket, that's what you're investing in.
Like a regular summer camp, you do a little gaga, you maybe go in the pool,
Right.
you
Yep.
have like some couple crafts. It's not it's emotional development camp, right?
Right.
It's like a physical camp. You go and you have
Yeah.
some fun, and you guys have fun. They do all sorts of stuff with this purpose of building confidence, empowerment, self-awareness. I love it so much.
Yes.
And just some of these parent reviews. I mean, couldn't be more thankful for the programs you ladies have created. Never seen so much growth in my child in such a quick amount of time. It was like years of future therapy prevented in 5 short, amazing days. I wanted to send a huge thank you for camp last week. Our daughter can't stop talking about all that she's learned. Her confidence has grown and her ability to handle friend drama is improving. She cannot wait for next year, and we've been spreading the word. So to get messages like that, yes, it is not a quick fix. It's something that needs to be fostered. It's something that needs to be talked about on a daily basis. But it's like drinking from the fire hose when you come to camp. And it's incredible. Once they get a taste of what's in the fire hose, you can't unhear it. You can't unlearn it. So you continue to practice these skills and you see the results from practicing the skills. So even at their age, they get to practice within their friend group, they get to practice their own confidence, and they're seeing results. And in turn, their parents are seeing results. That is the coolest part for us, is getting to hear from parents who want to tell us about the transformations that have happened. And we were really hesitant to use the word transformation at first because that has such a weight to it. You hear it a lot in the weight loss industry, right? Huge transformations. Buy this pill for $9.99 and you'll
Lose 100 pounds.
You'll be bikini ready by We're not hesitant to use that word anymore because we've seen it over and over and over and over again. It's huge. It's incredible to watch the light bulb go off in these girls, to know and understand that A, what they're struggling with, they're not doing it alone, and B, they have autonomy and agency to be able to change their situation, at least certain aspects of it. That in and of itself, when they can face their fears, builds their confidence. All we do is give them the space to face their fears. And when we do that, they themselves are able to build their own confidence. So if that at all sounds like something you want your daughter to be a part of. And what you said about taking day trips here, we, over the last 2 years, have seen families fly in from Colorado, California, Nevada, and Texas, which is beyond our wildest dreams because it is a commitment. And we understand that making the time for this investment means saying no to other things. And we do not take that lightly because we're also very aware that schedules are busy, whether it's the summer or not. That is obviously the best time for us to do this because we have a lot of time with the girls that is uninterrupted. But we also know that vacations are lingering and back to school shopping is lingering and all of these excuses to say no. But man, to see the amount of families flying in from out of state is just mind-blowing to us. So if this sounds like something you want to do, it's in June. So we go week sessions Monday through Friday. So our first session is June 2nd through June 6th. Our second session is June 9th through the 13th, June 16th through 21. Yep. June 23rd through the 27th. They're incredible. It's
9 to 3.
unlike anything that girls have ever seen before. And they're hesitant because they think personal development means a boot camp of some sort where
I'm
there's
in
something
trouble.
wrong with them and they're just going to
Yeah.
get drilled into. But once they walk in and they see the fun colors and the decorations and the photo opportunities and the music, the space to connect with girls that they've never met before, they come in Monday bashful and shy and with their arms crossed and their eyes rolling every which way from sideways to not wanting to leave on Friday.
It's like the best party that they've
It
ever been
is.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's so good. So our campers' ages are between 10 and 13, and we have a peer leader program. So if you have aged out of being a camp participant, then we have a space for our high schoolers. So whether you have been a camper or you have this yearning to develop yourself in a way that you're ready to take on more of a leadership role, and you get developed between myself and Mary and all the other amazing camp facilitators, we have space for our peer leaders. So that's from ages 14 to 18, and they act as camp counselors for us. They take on responsibilities throughout camp. They're responsible for girls and activities and our camp famous talent show that happens every year, and they're the MCs of it. So they make it so fun, and they become who the campers want to be, which is really beautiful. So outside of just being an older girl in camp, they really are anchors in our camp to show the girls what is possible in just a short amount of time.
It's so amazing. I just love what you're doing. And then, of course, I think people are going to be like, well, I can't make it to camp and I don't live in the Phoenix, Scottsdale area. Is there any other way to work with you?
Yeah.
People are going to want to know that.
There is. We're obviously constantly being challenged to figure out new ways to accommodate different populations simply because, yes, we are located in Arizona and that is our physical space, but we do a lot of one-on-one, so individual mentorship, whether that's a full-fledged program or an in-the-moment one-off call where we can kind of talk girls through what they're struggling with at that point in time, that is the second best way to work with us. Summer camp is our Super Bowl. That is the number one way to work with us for an extended period of time. And then individual coaching. So if your girl is struggling with something and it has been a struggle for a while, we would suggest our coaching program. We have a 12-week program that we take girls through, or we just have calls. If she needs a little support in the moment, that can be an option as well.
Oh my goodness, what a gift you are to any parent, really. Yeah.
Thank you.
Love
we feel
it.
the same way about you, ma'am.
I mean, the people in this space really are just doing God's work, man. It really, we are the village that they say it takes. And it's so fun to be able to say that. So we know we're few and far between. This work is hard. It's arduous. It's who wants to work with kids? Crazy people, teachers, right? We're all crazy and we're here.
Yeah.
And so to be in a space right alongside you is the greatest honor that we could have, because we know all of us work tirelessly in order to better the next generation.
Yeah, we do. Okay, so how can everyone meet with you or connect with you or find you? Like, what's the best way?
What's the skinny?
We are very social on
You're so
Instagram.
social.
We're the most social. But come hang with us. We would love, love, love to have your listeners drop in our DMs just to say, hey, I caught you on the podcast. I just wanted to say hi. We genuinely read every single DM. It's the two of us.
We wanted to be well connected with you.
Thanks.
Well-connected mamas.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yes,
Get this. I agree. Connect. Yeah. Just
Connect with us. We are the human beings behind Instagram. So you can find us at Girls Mentorship, just spelled the normal way. And then our website is girlsmentorship.com, and that will have all the information around camp, our peer leader program, and soon to come is our mentorship menu, like what menu items we have and the offerings for the one-on-one offerings outside of camp.
well, thank you so much. I think you're spot on. Start early. Start as soon as you can.
10 really is the age. You
Yeah,
nailed it.
it's where you start to see, and you get a little scared, and it's like, just send these girls to camp.
Come to camp. We'll receive you with open arms.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, darling,
thank
thank you for the opportunity
Yeah,
to
this
just
has been wonderful.
use your platform to spread the good word.
Yeah. No, my pleasure. So thank you guys for being here.
Bye, y'all. We'll see you on the next episode of Girls Mentorship Takes Over.
Until next time.
Hey, Mama, if you enjoyed this podcast episode, I want to encourage you to do two things. The first is go to my website, calmmamacoaching.com, and get a copy of the Stop Yelling cheat sheet. You'll get a step-by-step breakdown of the most important tool I teach, which is the pause break. And you'll also get 40 ideas to reset your body and balance your nervous system so you don't have to yell at your kids. You can get a copy of that, again, at my website, calmmamacoaching.com/stop yelling. The other thing I'd love for you to do is go to Apple Podcasts and rate and review this podcast so that other moms can discover empowering and helpful, practical parenting strategies, just like you did today. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. It means a lot to be in your ear every week and to support you on your parenting journey.